guys, I'm glad you're here. Thank you very much for joining me. Well, social media been talking about how Joe Biden would probably drop out of the race over the weekend, and he did in fact announce today that he will end his presidential re-election campaign, bringing what they are saying an abrupt and humbling conclusion to his half-century long political career, and scrambling the race for the White House just 4 months before the election. President Biden, who is 81, could not reverse the growing sentiment that his party, from his own party, that he was too frail to serve and destined to lose Donald Trump in November. About an hour ago, I believe, he posted this. It says, "My fellow Americans, over the past 3.5 years, we have made great progress in a nation. Today, America is the strongest economy in the world. We made historic investments rebuilding our nation, in lowering prescription drug costs for seniors, and in expanding affordable health care to a record number of Americans. We provided critical needed care for military veterans exposed to toxic substance, passed the first gun safety law in 30 years, appointed the first African American woman in the Supreme Court, and passed the most significant climate legislation in history of the world. America has never been better positioned to lead than we are today. I know none of this could have been done without you, the American people. Together, we overcame a once-in-a-century pandemic and the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. We've protected and preserved our democracy, and we revitalized and strengthened our alliance around the world. It has been a great honor of my life to serve you as president, and while it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and to focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term. I will speak to the nation later this week in more detail about my decision. For now, let me express my deepest gratitude to all of those who have worked so hard to see me reelected. I want to thank Vice President Kamala Harris for being an extraordinary partner in all this work. And let me express my heartfelt appreciation to the American people for the faith and trust you have placed in me. I believe today, what I have always have, that there is nothing America can't do when we do it together. We just have to remember we are the United States of America," and it was signed by Joe Biden. His withdrawal caps a singular national political career, bookended by Richard Nixon's fall and Trump's rise. He mounted 4 presidential bids. He spent 36 years in the U.S. Senate representing tiny Delaware. He rose to the chairmanships of the powerful Judiciary and Foreign Relations Committees. And he served 8 years as Barack Obama's vice president. Biden's decision to exit the race less than a month before the party's convention and a few months before voters head to the polls is unprecedented in the modern political era. Everything is such a mess right now. The last sitting president to abandon a re-election bid was Lyndon Johnson, whose expansion of the Vietnam War in the 1960s split the Democratic Party. But Johnson's announcement came in March of 1968, 8 months before that election. "We're in uncharted waters," said Barry Perry, a presidential studies professor at the University of Virginia Miller Center. "No president has dropped out or died this close to the convention." Replacing Biden atop the Democratic ticket is likely to set off an internal Democratic tremors as ambitious officials maneuver to become his successor. Factions have already formed around Harris and prominent governors, including Michigan's Gretchen Whitmer and California Gavin Newsom. Yeah, look at the mess and the drugs and the poverty, and yeah, look at his streets. Oh my goodness. Harris would seem to be heir apparent. She broke a barrier as the first female vice president, a woman of color. She enjoys strong support among African Americans. I don't believe that for a second. Has she even been to the border? Maybe, one time? Has she been to the border? They're saying that the African Americans are a loyal piece of the Democratic coalition. Overall, though, Harris' approval rating stood at only 32% in an NBC News poll released earlier this month. There is no one you can name right now who is an obvious substitute, Perry said. That's what makes it so uncertain and chaotic. You watch. Just be on watch. I'm not saying there's going to be a war, but I would not be surprised that there is a war. I would not be surprised that they cancel the elections and Biden stays in office. Yeah, while you're looking at the right hand, everyone's ignoring what the left hand is doing. Questions about Biden's capacity dogged him throughout the presidency, but peaked following his debate with Trump on June 27th. Combined with his flagging poll numbers, his list of performance sparked a panic among his own party that he couldn't win in November. With 58 million people watching, Biden spoke in a raspy voice and often failed to complete thoughts or deliver a cogent explanation for why voters should choose him over Trump. He later attributed his poor performance to exhaustion and a cold. He's got COVID evidently, and yet he don't wear masks, where he tells everybody, wear masks, get the vaccine. If you get the vaccine, you won't get COVID. Well, why did he catch it? He implored, he begged the country not to let one bad night overshadow his accomplishments in office. Unpersuaded, Democratic lawmakers began calling on him to step aside, a rebellion that started slowly but grew steadily in size and in intensity. Yeah, Barack Obama went there recently, and several other notable people. They appealed to Biden's patriotism, arguing that if he sincerely believed Trump is a threat to democracy, he needed to put his country first and stand down. Biden fought back. He held numerous calls and meetings with Democrat officials, all levels, to shore up his support inside the party, to no avail. Looking to stop the concerns about his, mental functions, I guess you can say, he gave interviews and held press conferences to prove to the voters he could still think on his feet. But the gaps kept coming, and his poll numbers remained stagnant. They were probably dropping. When he gets Zelensky from Ukraine mixed up with Putin, that was something. If it wasn't for the act of God or Trump just turning his head at the right moment, he nearly died on July 13th as he appeared at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. That was only one day after Biden said that they needed to put Trump in the crosshairs, which later, after the attempted assassination, he said was badly chosen words. Trump easily won the Republican presidential nomination despite splitting his time between the campaign trail and various courtrooms where he was a defendant in a criminal and civil case in May. A jury in Manhattan convicted him on 34 felony counts related to hush money payments to a porn star. Another fortunate development for Trump came 2 days later, coinciding with the opening of the Republican convention in Milwaukee that certified Trump's nomination. Federal Judge Aileen Cannon in Florida dismissed a separate case brought by Smith alleging that Trump improperly retained classified documents that he took home with him when he left the White House in 2021. Cannon ruled that Smith's appointment was illegal, and evidently Smith is now appealing her ruling. Some might say that Biden is patriotic. Some will say he isn't. Here's a Twitter post that says, President Trump spent 6 hours with us, while Joe Biden has refused to recognize their sacrifice. Trump met with gold medal families where Biden refused to even talk to him. And there's a really good Twitter post about, the fallen servicemen that Trump met with. Greg Abbott also put up a post saying more panels are being installed at the border wall in Maverick County. Texas' historic border wall will do what the Joe Biden administration refused to do: secure our borders. Another Twitter post: a woman is speaking out after being attacked in broad daylight by Biden's newcomer with a long record of violence, who currently lives in a taxpayer-funded shelter in New York City. In her Reddit account, I guess, she said, "I was a victim and got more information from police today. After they ran her fingerprints and facial recognition, they find that the woman who attacked her was wanted in several states, assaulted many people already: Texas, Chicago, Manhattan, then Long Island City. But each time she got arrested, she got released and went to a different shelter with a different name. She's been hurting people all over America, but still getting free food and free hotels in Long Island City, and this is absolutely ridiculous. Makes me angry." Yeah, and I think about the people that were killed by illegal immigrants in our country that Biden couldn't even get their name straight. And there's an image of her without her bandages, I guess. Raw Alerts has put up a Twitter post that says President Joe Biden has officially endorsed Kamala Harris to become the Democratic presidential candidate after officially jumping out a moments ago. Yeah, how much more damage can those that are in the White House do to our country? God help us all. Yeah, God help this country. Babylon B says that Joe Biden drops out of the presidential race. So what are your thoughts? Put your comments down below. Yeah, pray for this country. Yeah, how much damage can he still do before the next president is voted into office, whoever that might be? I have my favoritisms, but God is actually the one that is in control. So we'll see. Please put your comments down below. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll talk to you later. God bless you. Bye.